The distress signal cut through the darkness of space like a scream. It bounced from relay to relay, traveling faster than light, reaching every corner of the known galaxy. On Haven Crest Station, Station Master Velrathi pressed his six-fingered hands against the control panel and sent the message one more time. His antenna trembled with fear. "This is Haven Crest Station. We are under attack. Repeat, we are under attack. 50,000 civilians need help. Please, anyone who can hear this, we need help now." Through the station windows, Velrathi could see the enemy ships. 12 massive cruisers surrounded his home like wolves around wounded prey. They belonged to the Krellian Dominion, and everyone in the galaxy knew what that meant. The Krellians took what they wanted. They did not ask. They did not negotiate. They simply took. Another explosion shook the station. The shields were failing. Red lights flashed across every display. Velrathi looked at the numbers and felt his heart sink. The shields were at 30%. Maybe less. The station had never been built for war. It was a place of trade, of peace, of different species coming together. Now it was dying. Far away in the great chamber of the Galactic Assembly, important people from important worlds gathered to discuss the distress call. Ambassador Song Ha-Yun from Earth sat in her seat and listened. She was human, which meant most of the galaxy still saw her as new. Earth had only joined the galactic community 5 years ago. 5 years was nothing to species that lived for centuries. The Valorian representative stood up. He was tall and elegant, his blue skin shimmering under the lights. "We must approach this carefully," he said in a voice like music. "The Krellians are dangerous. We should open diplomatic channels first." "We should talk," a Centauri ambassador agreed. "Yes, we need proper authorization from the Assembly. We cannot just send ships. There are rules, procedures. We must follow them." Ha-Yun closed her eyes. She had expected this. The great powers of the galaxy loved their rules. They loved their procedures. They talked and talked while people died. She had seen it before. She would not see it again. Without a word, she stood and left the chamber. Her assistant hurried after her. "Ambassador, where are you going?" "To make a call," Ha-Yun said. She walked to her private office and opened a secure channel to Earth. The connection took only seconds. A face appeared on the screen. Admiral Park, commander of Earth Defense Fleet. He looked tired but alert. "Ambassador," he said. "We have a situation," Ha-Yun said. She told him about Haven Crest Station, about the 50,000 civilians, about the Assembly doing nothing. When she finished, there was silence. Then Admiral Park nodded. "I will send Captain Kang," he said. "Rules of engagement?" Ha-Yun did not hesitate. "Protect the station. Protect the innocent. Whatever it takes." "Understood," Admiral Park said, and the connection ended. On the other side of the galaxy, Captain Kang Dae-Wan stood on the bridge of the United Earth ship Indomitable. He was not a tall man, but something about him made people listen when he spoke. Maybe it was his eyes. They were calm even now, especially now. "All ships, this is Captain Kang," he said into the communication system. "We have new orders. Haven Crest Station is under attack. 50,000 civilians. The galaxy is talking. We are going." Commander Park Ji-woo looked up from her station. She was his second in command, his executive officer. They had served together for 7 years. "Captain, Haven Crest is 14 light years away. Even at maximum jump speed, it will take time." "Then we leave now," Dae-Won said. "How long?" "Jump calculations usually take 3 hours," Ji-woo said. She looked at her screens, her fingers moving fast. "I can do it in 30 minutes. 20, Dae-Won said. Ji-woo smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of someone about to do something impossible. 20 minutes. Yes, sir. The Indomitable was not alone. The human fleet in this sector included 5 destroyers, 3 frigates, and 2 carriers. 10 ships total. They began moving together like a school of fish, perfectly coordinated. Other species always wondered how humans did that. How they moved as one without seeming to think about it. Lieutenant Choi Hyun sat at the weapons station. He was young, only 25, but his hands never shook. He ran diagnostics on every weapon system, railguns, missiles, point defense. Everything had to be perfect. Everything had to work. "Weapons ready, Captain," he reported. "Good," Dae-Won said. He looked around the bridge. Every person here had volunteered for this duty. Every person here knew what they were flying into. Listen carefully. We are going to fight. The enemy has 12 heavy cruisers. We have 10 ships. The math is not in our favor, he paused. The bridge was silent except for the hum of systems. But remember this, Daewon continued. For 10,000 years, humans fought on Earth. We fought each other. We fought nature. We fought everything that tried to kill us. And we are still here. We know how to fight when the odds are bad. We know how to win when winning seems impossible. The Krellians are about to learn what that means. A cheer rose from the bridge crew. Not loud, not wild. Just determined. The sound of people who knew what they had to do. Jump calculations complete, Jiwoo announced. All ships ready? Execute jump, Daewon ordered. Space twisted. Reality bent. The human fleet vanished from normal space and entered the strange realm of faster-than-light travel. They were on their way. Back at Haven Crest Station, Velrathi watched the shield display drop to 15%. His assistant, a young Talarian named Kivra, looked at him with all four eyes wide with fear. Station Master, no one is coming, she said. The assembly is still talking. No one is coming to help us. Velrathi wanted to tell her she was wrong. He wanted to say help was on the way, but he could not lie. The Krellian ships were getting closer. Their weapons were charging. This was the end. He was about to order an evacuation when something strange happened. One of the Krellian ships exploded. Just like that. One moment it was there, the next it was debris floating in space. Then another exploded. And another. Velrathi pulled up the sensor display. His hands shook. There, coming from the edge of the system, were 10 ships. Small compared to the Krellian cruisers, but moving fast. So fast. And their weapons were already firing. Who are they? Kivra whispered. Velrathi looked at the ship identification. His translator struggled with the words. United Earth Ship. The letters were human. The ships were human. The humans, he said, and his voice was filled with wonder. The humans came. The human fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Havencrest system. On the bridge of the Indomitable, Captain Daewon studied the tactical display. The picture was bad. 12 Krellian heavy cruisers surrounded the station like hunters around prey. The station's shields were failing. Red lights flashed across the screen showing critical damage. Distance to station? Daewon asked. 2 million kilometers, Commander Jiwoo replied. At current speed, 12 minutes. The station does not have 12 minutes, Daewon said. He could see the station shields dropping. 10% now. Maybe less. All ships maximum burn. Get us there in 6 minutes. Down in the engine room, Master Chief Engineer Lee Tae-yang heard the order and grinned. He was 60 years old with gray hair and hands that had fixed 1,000 impossible problems. You hear that? He shouted to his crew. Captain wants maximum burn. Let us give him more than maximum. His hands flew across the controls. Safety limiters went offline. Power output climbed past the red line. The ship shook as the engines roared. She will hold, Tae-yang muttered. She always holds. On the bridge, Ensign Kim Bora sat at the communication station. She was the youngest officer on the ship, fresh from the academy, but she had a gift for languages. Her console lit up with intercepted Krellian transmissions. She listened carefully, translating the alien words. Captain, she said, the Krellian commander is giving the station a final warning. They have 5 minutes to surrender or he will destroy them. Daewon looked at the countdown timer. 6 minutes until they reached the station. 5 minutes until the Krellians attacked. They would not make it in time. Unless... Commander Jiwoo, do we have weapons range? Jiwoo checked her display. Negative. We need to be much closer. At this distance, our accuracy would be terrible. What if we fire everything? Daewon asked. All ships? All weapons. A wall of fire they cannot ignore. Jiwoo understood immediately. It did not matter if they hit anything. They just needed to make the Krellians notice them. Make them stop attacking the station. It might work, she said. It will definitely get their attention. Lieutenant Hyun, Daewon said. Target the Krellian fleet. All weapons. Fire when ready. The young weapons officer smiled. With pleasure, sir. The human fleet opened fire. Railguns launched slugs of metal at incredible speeds. Missiles streaked through space, leaving trails of light. Every ship fired everything it had. The barrage lit up the darkness like a second sun. Most of the shots missed. At this range, that was expected. But 3 railgun slugs found their targets. They punched through Krellian shields and armor like paper. One heavy cruiser lost its main weapons. Another began venting atmosphere. A third simply exploded. On the Krellian command ship, War leader Krelthor stared at his displays in confusion. Where had that attack come from? He pulled up the sensor data and saw 10 small ships approaching fast. Very fast, too fast. What are those ships? He demanded. His sensor officer checked the database. Unknown design, war leader? But the identification marks say they are from Earth. They are human ships. Krelthor laughed. Humans. The galaxy's newest members. Primitives from a backwater world. 10 of their little ships against his 12 heavy cruisers. It was almost insulting. Open a channel to them, he ordered. On the Indomitable, Ensign Bo-Ra received the incoming transmission. Captain, the Krellians are hailing us. Put it on speaker, Daewon said. Krelthor's voice filled the bridge. It was deep and rough, full of contempt. Unknown vessels, you are interfering in Krellian Dominion business. This station belongs to us now. Leave immediately or you will be destroyed. This is your only warning. Daewon looked at Ji-Woo. She nodded. They had discussed this before. What to say when the enemy thought they could intimidate humans? Bo-Ra had prepared the response in perfect Krellian. Daewon gave the signal. Bo-Ra opened the channel and spoke clearly. War Leader Krelthor, this is Captain Kang Daewon of the United Earthship Indomitable. You have attacked a civilian station. You have violated interstellar law. You have one chance. Withdraw your forces now. You have 60 seconds to comply. There was a moment of silence. Then Krelthor laughed again. 60 seconds? You dare give me an ultimatum? You will die first, human. The Krellian ships turned toward the humans. Their weapons began charging. Plasma cannons, energy beams, missile launchers, all aimed at the approaching human fleet. They are firing, Ji-Woo reported calmly. Evasive pattern delta, Daewon ordered. All ships, tight formation. Let them see what humans can do. The human ships did not slow down. They did not run. They charged straight into the enemy fire. Plasma bolts filled the space between the fleets. The humans flew through it like they did not care. Like death meant nothing to them. Some shots hit. The shields of the Indomitable flared bright blue as plasma impacted. Alarms sounded. But the shields held. Human shields were different from what the Krellians expected. Stronger. Tougher. Shields at 70%, Ji-Woo reported. Still holding. Close to knife fighting range, Daewon said. This is where we win. The human fleet split into 3 groups. It was a practice maneuver. They had done this 100 times in training. Now they did it for real. The destroyers punched straight through the Krellian formation. The frigates spread wide, covering them. The carriers launched fighters. Krelthor watched in growing alarm. These ships moved like nothing he had seen before. Perfect coordination. No hesitation, no fear. They flew like the pilots were born in space. All ships focus fire on the lead destroyer, he ordered. Kill it now. The Krellian fleet obeyed. Every ship turned its weapons on the Indomitable. A storm of fire converged on the human flagship. But the Indomitable did not run. It accelerated, straight at the nearest Krellian cruiser. Now, Lieutenant Hyun, Daewon said quietly. Hyun had been waiting for this moment. His fingers danced across the weapons controls. The Indomitable's main railgun fired. At this range, barely 5,000 kilometers, there was no time to dodge. The metal slug hit the Krellian cruiser dead center. The cruiser's shields collapsed like glass. The slug punched through the hull, through the armor, through everything. It came out the other side. The massive ship broke apart in a series of explosions. On Haven Crest Station, Velrathi watched in stunned silence. One shot, one ship, just like that. The humans had done in seconds what he thought impossible. Station Master, his assistant Kivra whispered. What are they? Velrathi remembered something he had heard once. A rumor about Earth, about the planet where humans came from. They called it a death world, a place where everything tried to kill everything else, where survival meant being stronger, faster, smarter than the predators. Looking at the human ships carving through the Krellian fleet, Velrathi finally understood what that meant. They are warriors, he said softly. Born and bred, and they came to save us. The space battle exploded into chaos. The human fleet moved through the Krellian formation like sharks through a school of fish. Every movement was precise. Every shot was calculated. This was not their first battle. It would not be their last. Commander Ji-Woo coordinated the attack from the Indomitable's bridge. Her voice was calm over the communications channel. Destroyer Group 2 hit their left flank. Frigates cover the carriers. Fighter wings target their point defense systems. The human ships responded instantly. No questions. No hesitation. They knew their jobs. They trusted their commanders. More importantly, they trusted each other. Lieutenant Hyun fired the railguns again. Another Krellian cruiser took critical damage. Its engines exploded, sending it spinning out of control. He immediately switched targets. His hands never stopped moving. Target, lock, fire. Target, lock, fire. Over and over. War leader Krelthor finally understood his mistake. These humans were not primitives. They were not weak. They were something the galaxy had not seen in a very long time. They were apex predators. All ships, regroup, he ordered. Form defensive positions. Focus fire on one target at a time. But the Krellian ships were not used to this kind of fighting. They were used to attacking weaker enemies, stations that could not fight back, civilian ships that ran away. Not this. Not ships that charged into fire like they welcomed death. 3 more Krellian cruisers fell. The human missiles were different too. They did not just explode. They punched through shields first, then exploded inside the hull. Devastating, efficient, brutal. Krelthor looked at his tactical display. He had started this battle with 12 heavy cruisers. Now he had 7. 7 against 10. The numbers had reversed. This was not possible. His ships were bigger. They had more weapons, more armor. How were they losing? Then he saw what the humans were really doing. They were not just fighting. They were protecting. Every time a Krellian ship tried to fire on Havencrest Station, a human ship blocked the shot. They put themselves between the station and the weapons. They were willing to die to save strangers. That was when Krelthor decided to change tactics. If the humans wanted to be heroes, he would use that against them. He would force them to choose. Fight him or save the station. Not both. All ships, new target, he commanded. Forget the human fleet. Fire everything at the station. Destroy it now. The 7 remaining Krellian cruisers turned their weapons toward Havencrest. Every plasma cannon, every missile launcher, every weapon they had, all aimed at the defenseless station. On Havencrest, Velrothi saw the Krellian ships turning. He knew what it meant. The station shields were almost gone. One massive strike would finish them. 50,000 people would die. He closed all 4 eyes and waited for the end. On the Indomitable, Captain Daewon saw it too. He had seconds to decide. Pull back and let the station die or do something crazy. He smiled. Crazy was what humans did best. All ships execute Protocol Sigma 7, he ordered. Jiwoo looked at him with wide eyes.
Captain, that protocol is theoretical.
We have never tested it in real combat. Then today we test it, Daewon said. Execute now! The human destroyers moved with impossible speed. 3 of them positioned themselves directly between the Krellian fleet and the station. They spread out, overlapping their shield coverage. They became a wall made of metal and courage. Down in engineering, Master Chief Taeyang saw the order and started laughing. It was not a happy laugh. It was the laugh of a man who knew he was about to do something insane. All power to forward shields, he shouted. Everything. Engines, weapons, life support. Everything! His crew stared at him. Master Chief, if we do that and the shields fail, we have no backup power. We will be defenseless. Then the shields better not fail, Taeyang said. He moved the power controls himself. The shield generators screamed. They were running at 200% capacity. Maybe more. The entire ship shook. Come on, baby, he whispered to his ship. Just hold a little longer. For those people. For them, the Krellian ships fired. 7 heavy cruisers unleashing their full arsenal at once. The space between the fleets lit up like a star. Plasma, missiles, energy beams, all converging on 3 human destroyers. The impact was tremendous. The Indomitable's shields flared so bright they could be seen from the station. The ship rocked like it had hit a wall. Alarms screamed. Systems overloaded. Sparks flew from control panels. Shield status. Jiwoo called out over the noise. From engineering, Taeyang's voice came back. He was laughing. Actually laughing. Shields holding at 20%. She held, Commander. She held! Behind the 3 destroyers, Havencrest Station was untouched. Not a single shot had gotten through. The humans had done the impossible. They had tanked the full firepower of 7 heavy cruisers and survived. Captain Daewon stood up. His uniform was torn. There was blood on his face from where he had hit the console. He did not care. Now it is our turn, he said quietly. Lieutenant Hyun, do you have firing solutions on all 7 ships? Hyun looked up from his weapons console. His hands were steady. His eyes were cold. Yes, sir. All 7 targets locked. All ships, Daewon said into the fleet channel. Concentrate fire on the Krellian flagship. Hyun, feed targeting data to every ship. On my mark, we fire everything at once. The human fleet was battered. Their shields were low. Some ships had hull damage, but they were still in the fight. They positioned themselves for the perfect shot. Carriers, destroyers, frigates, all aiming at one target. Krelthor saw them lining up. He realized what they were planning. Evasive maneuvers! All ships, scatter. Too late. Mark, Daewon said, the human fleet fired as one. Hundreds of missiles, dozens of railgun slugs, energy beams from the carriers. Everything converged on Krelthor's flagship. The shields tried to hold. They failed. The armor tried to absorb the impact. It failed. The massive ship simply disintegrated. Krelthor's last thought was disbelief. How had this happened? How had 10 small ships defeated his fleet? The answer came to him in his final second. They had not defeated his fleet. They had defeated him. His arrogance. His certainty that size and power meant everything. Then there was nothing but light and fire. The remaining Krellian ships panicked. Their leader was dead. Their fleet was shattered. Some tried to run. Some tried to surrender. The humans gave them one chance. Ensign Borod transmitted on all Krellian frequencies. Her voice was clear and cold. Attention, Krellian vessels. You have 2 choices. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded, or try to run and be destroyed. You have 30 seconds to decide. 6 ships surrendered immediately. Their shields dropped. Their weapons powered down. They were done fighting. 2 ships tried to run. The human frigates pursued them. It was not a long chase. The frigates were faster and their weapons were more accurate. Both ships were disabled within minutes. The Battle of Havencrest was over. From first shot to last, it had lasted 43 minutes. The Krellian Dominion had lost 12 heavy cruisers. The humans had lost 0 ships. Captain Daewon sat down in his command chair. He was exhausted. His entire body hurt, but they had done it. The station was safe. 50,000 people would live. Commander Jiwoo, he said. Status report. Jiwoo checked her displays. All ships reporting. Heavy damage to the Indomitable and destroyers 2 and 5. But everyone is alive. No casualties, Captain, no casualties. Daewon closed his eyes and took a deep breath. They had won, and everyone was alive. On Havencrest Station, Velrathi collapsed into his chair. He was shaking. Not from fear anymore. From relief, from gratitude, from joy. Around him, his crew was crying, hugging each other. They were alive. All of them. 50,000 souls saved. He looked at the human ships floating near his station. They were damaged, beaten, but still there, still protecting. He had one thought, and he knew it would echo through the entire galaxy. The humans came, when no one else would. The humans came. The silence after battle was always strange. The guns had stopped. The explosions had ended. Now there was only the quiet hum of damaged ships and the sound of people breathing. Alive. Still alive. Dr. Yoon Soo-jin walked through the medical bay of the Indomitable. Her white coat was stained with blood. Not all of it was human. The wounded from the battle were arriving now. Human crew members with burns and broken bones, and Krellian prisoners from the captured ships. One of her nurses looked uncertain. Doctor, should we treat the Krellians? They tried to kill us. Soo-jin did not even pause. Yes, we treat everyone. The battle is over. Now we heal. She moved to the first Krellian casualty and began working. The alien was large, covered in scales, with yellow eyes that watched her with confusion and fear. Why? The Krellian asked in broken standard language. Why help me? I am enemy. Soo-jin looked at him while she worked on his wounds. Because you are injured. Because I am a doctor. That is enough reason. The Krellian said nothing more, but his eyes followed her with something new. Respect. Maybe even gratitude. On the bridge, Captain Daewon received a message from Havencrest Station. Station Master Velrathi was requesting permission to come aboard the Indomitable. Daewon looked at Commander Jiwoo. She nodded. Tell him he is welcome, Daewon said. We will meet in the observation deck. 30 minutes later, Velrathi stood on the human ship. He was a Talarian, an insectoid species with 6 arms and compound eyes. He had brought his assistant Kivra with him. They both looked at the humans with wonder. Daewon and Jiwoo met them in the observation deck. Through the large windows they could see Haven Crest Station. Damaged but still standing, still alive. Velrathi performed a gesture with his antenna. In Talarian culture, it was the highest sign of respect. Captain Daewon. Commander Jiwoo, you saved us. You came when the entire galaxy did nothing. Why? It was the same question everyone was asking. Why did humans risk everything for strangers? Daewon thought about how to explain it. How to make this alien understand something that seemed so simple to humans. On Earth we have a saying, Daewon began. The only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing. We heard your call for help. We could do something. So we did. That is all. Velrathi's antenna trembled. In his species that meant strong emotion. That is all? You risked your lives, your ships, everything, for people you never met, for a station you have no connection to. And you say that is all? Jiwoo smiled gently. Station Master, humans have been fighting for thousands of years. We know what it means to be alone. To call for help and have no one answer. We will never let that happen to others if we can prevent it. Velrathi looked at them both for a long moment. Then he spoke in a voice filled with emotion. The Talarian people will never forget this. You have made allies today. Forever. Far away in the Galactic Assembly, chaos had erupted. The great powers had been watching the battle. Every ship, every shot, every impossible moment when the humans did what should not have been possible. Ambassador Hyun stood in the center of the chamber. All around her, representatives from 100 worlds were arguing, shouting, demanding answers. The Valorian representative pointed at her. Your people acted without authorization, without waiting for the assembly. This is a violation of protocol. Your military intervention was aggressive and dangerous, a Centauri ambassador added. You destroyed 12 Krellian ships. Do you understand what this means? You may have started a war. Hyun let them speak. Let them shout. When they finally quieted, she spoke. Her voice was calm but hard as steel. You are right. We did not wait for authorization. We did not follow protocol. Do you know why? She activated a display. It showed Haven Crest Station. 50,000 civilians, families, children, all of them alive now because of human action. Because while you debated and discussed and followed your precious protocols, these people were dying. You say we may have started a war? I say we prevented a massacre. The chamber erupted again. Some species agreed with her. Others were horrified. The debate went on for hours. Finally, a vote was called. Should Earth be censured for unauthorized military action? The vote was close. Very close. But in the end, it failed. Earth would not be censured. Hyun suspected she knew why. Many species secretly admired what humans had done. They just could not say it publicly. As the session ended, a representative from a small species approached Hyun privately. She was a Makari, a peaceful people who had suffered from raiders for decades. She spoke quietly so others would not hear. Ambassador Hyun, I could not say this publicly, but thank you. What your people did gives us hope. Hope that maybe the galaxy can be more than endless debates while innocents suffer. My people voted against the censure. And we were not alone, Hyun smiled. That was what they needed. Not the approval of the great powers, but the support of the small peoples, the ones who understood what it meant to be helpless and afraid. Back on the Indomitable, Master Chief Tai Yang and his crew worked around the clock to repair the damage. The ship had taken a beating, but she was tough. Human ships were built to survive. They had to be. Earth taught its children that survival meant being tougher than everything trying to kill you. Ensign Bora sat at her station, monitoring communications. Messages were flooding in from across the galaxy. Some were official, some were not, but many had the same theme. Thank you. Thank you for showing us that someone cares. Thank you for proving that help can come. She flagged one message for Captain Daewon. It was from the Krellian Dominion's High Command. She expected threats, promises of revenge. What she found was different. The message was brief. It said the attack on Haven Crest had been unauthorized. The officers responsible were being recalled and punished. Bora knew it was probably a lie. A way to save face. But it also meant something important. The Krellians were backing down. They did not want to fight humans again, not yet. Maybe not ever. Lieutenant Hyun stood in the weapons bay checking his railguns. Every system had performed perfectly. Not a single malfunction. He felt pride in that. But also something else, relief. They had fought and won without losing anyone, human or alien. Even the Krellian prisoners were alive and receiving medical care. He thought about his training at the academy. They had taught him how to fight, how to kill when necessary, but they had also taught him something else, that the goal was not to fight. The goal was to protect. Fighting was just the tool they used when protection required force. In the observation deck, Captain Daewon and Commander Jiwoo stood together looking at the stars. The fleet was recovering. The station was safe. Soon they would return to their patrol route. But nothing would be the same. They are calling us Deathworlders, Jiwoo said quietly. Some species think it is an insult. Others say it with respect, Daewon nodded. Earth is a death world. That is true. Everything there tries to kill everything else. We evolved to survive it, but we also evolved something else. We learned to help each other, to protect the weak, to stand together. That is what makes us human. Do you think they understand that? Jiwoo asked. Some do, Daewon said. Like Velrathi, like the Makari representative who thanked Ambassador Hyun. They understand. The others will learn, or they will not. Either way, we will keep doing what is right. Jiwoo smiled. That is very philosophical, Captain. Someone has to be, Daewon replied. Otherwise, we are just another species with big guns. And Earth did not send us out here just to shoot things. They stood in comfortable silence watching the repair crews work on the hull. The Indomitable had taken damage, but she would fly again. She would fight again if needed. But more importantly, she would protect again. Because that was what humans did. They answered the call. Every time. No matter the cost, no matter the odds. When someone needed help, humans came. The Deathworlders were listening. And they always would be. 3 months had passed since the Battle of Haven Crest. The galaxy had not forgotten. How could it? The story spread from system to system. 10 human ships against 12 Krellian heavy cruisers. The humans won without losing a single vessel. The numbers did not make sense to most species. The outcome should have been impossible, but humans did not care about what should be impossible. They only cared about what needed to be done. Ambassador Ha-Yun sat in her office on the assembly station. Her desk was covered with requests. Trade agreements, defense pacts, technology exchanges. Every day brought more. Smaller species wanted to talk to Earth. They wanted to be friends with the people who had proven they would protect the weak. Her assistant brought in another stack of documents. Ambassador, the Makari Confederation is requesting a meeting. Again, Ha-Yun smiled. Schedule it. The Makari are good people. They deserve our help. She looked at the pile of requests and felt both pride and worry. Pride because Earth was making a difference. Worry because they could not help everyone. Not yet. Earth's fleet was still small compared to the great powers. Her communication console beeped. An urgent message. Ha-Hyun opened it and her expression changed. Another distress call. This one from the Makari convoy. A refugee fleet carrying 30,000 civilians. They were under attack by raiders. The message was simple and desperate. Please, we need the Deathworlders. Only they will come. Ha-Yun did not hesitate. She opened a channel to Earth Defense Command. 2 minutes later, the Indomitable received its orders. Captain Daewon looked at the message and nodded. Set course for the Makari convoy. Maximum speed, but this time something was different. As the human fleet prepared to jump, another message came in. From Havencrest Station, Station Master Velrathi spoke directly to Captain Daewon. Captain, we intercepted the Makari distress call. 3 Talarian defense ships are ready to join you. You stood for us. Now we stand with you. Daewon felt something warm in his chest. Not just human ships this time. The Talarians were coming too. Because humans had shown them that protecting others was worth the risk. Welcome to the fleet, Station Master. Your help is appreciated. The combined fleet jumped to faster than light speed. 13 ships now. Human and Talarian, working together. When they arrived at the Makari convoy, they found 8 raider ships attacking the refugee vessels. The raiders were not military, just criminals looking for easy prey. They found something very different instead. Ensign Bora sent the warning on all channels. Attention raider vessels. This is the United Earth ship Indomitable. You're attacking civilian refugees. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences. The raiders saw the human ships. They remembered the stories from Haven Crest. 6 of the 8 raiders immediately powered down their weapons and fled. The other 2 were either braver or more stupid. They opened fire. Lieutenant Hyun disabled both ships in under a minute. Precise shots that took out their engines but left the crew alive. The battle was over before it really began. The Makari convoy was safe, but what came next surprised everyone. Captain Daewon ordered the raiders to be brought aboard the Indomitable, not for punishment, for questioning. Dr. Sujin interviewed them personally. She wanted to understand why they had become raiders. What she found made her sad. Most of them had not chosen this life. They came from failed colonies, corrupt governments, places where there were no jobs, no food, no hope. They became raiders because they saw no other choice. Sujin made a report to Captain Daewon. Sir, I believe most of these people could be rehabilitated. They need opportunity, not punishment. If we just send them to prison, they will come out as criminals again. But if we give them another chance... Daewon listened carefully. Then he made a decision that shocked the galaxy once again. He offered the raiders a choice. They could be prosecuted under galactic law and spend years in prison. Or they could come to a human colony world, receive training in useful skills and start new lives. Most chose the second option. Within weeks, the first rehabilitation center opened on New Terra. Former raiders worked alongside human engineers, learning to build instead of destroy, learning that there was another way. The program was controversial. Many species thought humans were being too soft, but Haun defended it at the assembly. We are not just warriors. We are builders. We fight when we must, but we prefer to create peace rather than enforce it with weapons. While the rehabilitation program began, another development was happening. Lieutenant Hyun started receiving requests from other species. They wanted to learn human combat tactics. They wanted to understand how humans fought so effectively. Hyun thought about it and agreed. He started an informal training program. Officers from different species came to learn. What he taught them seemed obvious to humans but was revolutionary to others. We do not fight to fight, he explained to a group of Talarian officers. We fight to end the fight. Every shot has a purpose. Every maneuver has a goal. We are not trying to win points or look good. We are trying to protect people and go home. The alien officers nodded. They understood the words. But Hyun wondered if they really understood the meaning. Human tactics came from human history, 10,000 years of war, of survival, of learning that the only way to have peace was to be good at war. Meanwhile, Bora made an interesting discovery. She was studying ancient Talarian texts, trying to learn more about their culture. In one old document, she found something strange. A story about another warrior species that had appeared in the galaxy long ago, thousands of years before. The description was eerily familiar. A species from a harsh world, aggressive fighters but also compassionate healers. They appeared during times of crisis, helped, then vanished. The text called them the First Protectors. Bora brought the text to Captain Daewon. Sir, do you think this could be about humans? Could we have been in the galaxy before? Daewon read the ancient text carefully. I do not know, Ensign. But it is an interesting question. Earth's early history has many gaps, many mysteries. Perhaps we will find answers someday. He handed the text back to her. Keep researching. Knowledge is always useful. But remember, it does not matter where we came from. It matters what we do now. 6 months after Haven Crest, the Galactic Assembly called a special session. Multiple species had submitted a proposal. They wanted to create a new organization, the Galactic Protection Initiative. Its purpose would be rapid response to humanitarian crises, to help those who could not help themselves, and they wanted Earth to be the founding member. Ambassador Hyun read the proposal carefully. This was what Earth wanted, official recognition as protectors. But she was careful. The galaxy's great powers were clever. They might try to control Earth through this organization, limit what humans could do. When she spoke to the assembly, her words were clear. Earth will join this initiative, but we have one condition. Our rules of engagement remain our own. We will not stand by and debate while innocents die. If we see someone who needs help, we will help them. Immediately, no waiting for approval, no bureaucratic delays. Accept this and we will join. Refuse it and we will help people anyway, but outside your organization. The chamber erupted in debate. Some species were angry at the demand. Others understood it was not really a demand. It was a statement of fact. Humans would do what they thought was right. The only question was whether the Assembly wanted to work with them or against them. After hours of discussion, the vote came. The condition was accepted. Earth joined the Galactic Protection Initiative with full autonomy over its operations. It was a new chapter for the galaxy. On the Indomitable, Captain Day Wan received the news from Ha-Un. Commander Jiwoo stood beside him on the bridge. They looked at each other and smiled. "So it is official now," Jiwoo said. "We are the galaxy's protectors." "We always were," Day Wan replied. "Now everyone knows it." He looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, someone might need help. Someone might be calling for aid. And when they did, humans would answer. They always would, because that was what Deathworlders did. They survived. They fought. They protected. And they never ever stopped listening.